Hey besties, welcome to Cozy Chats. My name is Randy and I'm here to normalize a cozier way to do business for chronically exhausted entrepreneurs. But quickly, before we get into today's episode, I want to extend an invite to all the chronically cozy entrepreneurs out there looking for a community that understands them. I know how isolating it can feel to run a business while managing a chronic illness or neurodivergence, which is why I built the Chronically Cozy community. It's a free community for entrepreneurs where you can share your creations, connect, collaborate, and feel supported. If that sounds like your vibe, we would love to have you. Join us today at chronicallycozylife.com or through the link in my bio. Now, sit back, get cozy, and let's get into today's episode. Hello, besties. So on today's episode, I'm talking to Sarah, the founder of the Witty Ladybug, who sells stickers and other fun stuff with the goal of sharing a little bit of humor among the darkness. It's a must-love dark humor kind of shop. So we are going to have so much fun today talking about channeling your inner white man and finding the audacity and the confidence to survive in this world. I'm so excited about it. So get cozy, get ready. We're going to have a good chat today. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Randy, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm pretty excited about our chat today.
Yes, I'm so excited. I've been following you on Threads for a while now, and I always love your stuff.
Yeah, me too. I really love what you've done. I think I pretty much found you at the beginning
Yeah.
of your journey, and I really like what you've done to create an entire creator community, using the Discord, the business directory, and just pretty much everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much. You're in our Discord with us?
I am, yes.
Yes, love it. It's so much fun, and I think we have a good time in there, and it's so useful. So thank you so much for coming on. I know we had some scheduling issues, but that's how life goes. So I'm glad we were finally able to make it work. Do tell us all about you and your little shop.
Well, my name's Sarah, right? So I started the Witty Ladybug we're almost at the 3-year point. April 1st is the official birthday. And I think my story kind of about how all of this started really goes into kind of what we're talking about today. So I've been chronically ill for a very long time, since I was in college, and I'm 37 now. So
38?
so I had I've dealt with fatigue and all of the kind of nonsense, just randomly hurting and all of that. But then in 2020, we moved to Colorado, my partner and I, and like a couple months later, the wheels kind of came off. Uh, and I was just so exhausted, could barely, I had to lay down after I took a shower. Um, was really struggling with food, and to make food and just basically meet very basic functions, um, of life. So that's kind of kicked off, all of these things. So after doctors and a couple of years of trying to, get on meds and get a little bit more stable and be able to build some actual stamina, I was like, I need to do something with my life. I can't just have every day be you're gonna sit on the couch,
Yeah.
right? It's awful. It's miserable. If you don't have any sort of purpose. So I found out that the local rec center was offering different classes. Um, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool, but I really don't like that. Going to something I don't know how it's gonna be. I don't know how it's gonna go. Are people gonna be in my age bracket at all? You know what I mean? Those kinds of things."
Mm-hmm.
And I had also fairly recently around that point had found a best friend here in Colorado. And she is very much the opposite of me, right? She'll go talk to anybody, she'll go do anything, whatever. So she was like, "We're gonna go to this ceramics class." um, we're doing it. And we did it and it was good, it was fine, it was a fun night. And she was like, "We're gonna sign up for the class." And I'm like, "Ugh, okay." So we signed up for the class and I ended up loving it. And my business actually started off with like some ceramics stuff. Uh but yeah, I ended up loving it and I ended up like kind of growing my little community out a little bit. And I had met several women that were either running their own small business or about to take the jump, to run their own small business.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking, like, could I do this? Like, I don't know, I can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
um, things are better, but they are definitely not great, right? Like, still very much a days I can't do anything or what have you. And then I don't know, we had been talking and I walked in, I think after a ceramics class and I looked at our entry hallway. We kind of made like a gallery wall of all of this art. And there's a couple pieces from my favorite artist on the wall. There's a couple of my art pieces now too, but at the time there weren't. But Seth Pitt is his name. But he does very simple drawings, right? And it made me think about like a lot of the artists that I'm drawn to. The stuff is pretty simple, right? It's not like fine art that
Mhm.
I'm drawn to, and I don't think it's fine art that creates conversations. Right, I mean, maybe it can create
I
conversations, but I
mean,
don't
yeah,
think it creates the
I'll
same
create
kind
their
of
own.
connection, right? It doesn't create the same kind of connection. One of the reasons that I love or the big reason why I love Seth Pitt's work is because it conveys really big emotions with very simple characters.
Yeah.
And I went, again, this brood for weeks, but I was like, he just did it, nobody told him, like, he probably didn't ask, like, he just went for it, even though really what he does is, like, doodles, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's kind of how the Witty Ladybug was born. Um, I didn't have some art background really when I was a kid, I didn't think that was for me, I really hated all of the art stuff,
Mhm.
because, I don't know, it was just kind of pushed, like, that stuff was never for me, right? I was the responsible one, and the art stuff was just kind
Mhm.
of a waste of time. Um, my other there I have a couple of sisters, but one of my other sisters, like, she was the artist of the family, right? Like, that was her thing, you don't need to dabble in that, go
Mm.
be responsible, that's your thing. Um, and so I'd always gone towards, like, crafting, right? And, I had tried that when we moved here. I started making videos, because I had done that in 2020 with the library and, like, a job that I had done, and then just quickly realized that it was just very draining.
Mhm.
Um, so
Like social media videos?
yeah, like and YouTube, yeah. YouTube, trying to create content, yes, with crafts.
Content is
Um,
super draining.
yeah, it's super draining. Um, and I really liked it, and I mean, I'm decent at it, uh but it never really felt like it was, like, my thing, I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
but, yeah, it basically it really did start with why not? And,
Yeah.
there was a local shop in town, that had advertised a couple of months prior that they were doing, this, like, community art expo, and, they were opening it up to anybody, right? And I was like, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start this business, and Imma go for it and get my art on the wall because why
Wow.
not?"
Love
Yeah.
it. I love it so much. Like, when you said have the audacity of a white man, I was like, "This person is gonna be someone who understands me." Uh, did you I don't know if you caught the, like, conversation in our Discord, about imposter syndrome. Someone had asked, "How do we deal with this? How are we dealing with this?" And I'm like, I really want to give like a really good answer to that because imposter syndrome is one of those things that so many of us struggle with, especially when you're neurodivergent, especially when you're dealing with a bunch of other health issues. Like you have so many things against you. It's easy to be like, well, why, what makes me think I can? Well, but like
Absolutely.
somebody else who probably doesn't have the skills that you have, the knowledge that you have, like the, push and drive that you have, is probably also totally doing it.
Yeah,
And also, it's probably an old white man.
right.
Like, and so
Absolutely.
that's one of those lines that I tell people a lot of times. I'm like, would an old white man do it? Would a
Right.
white man do this and like
Yeah. Yeah, and I
question
mean,
whether he should or could?
this whole thing is to not be like, I hate white guys or something,
No, no,
but
no. Yeah, when we're talking
it's
about
just a
white men, it's like, there's like white man, and then there's men, that we like men, but
right,
there's
right,
white
right.
man.
Yeah,
We don't like
it's a
white men.
stereo
Yeah,
it's definitely a
we're talking
stereotype.
about
But
white man.
I think being able to use that verbiage and that kind of, that stereotype to try to think, like, would this person, right,
Yeah,
this mediocre white man, would he go do this, right? And, like, you can picture that in your head, and it's easy to make that decision. Like, obviously, we're talking about it. I think there's a lot more to it than that, but I think that that's a sticking point that it is easy to recall and to help yourself with like the imposter syndrome. And with
yeah,
imposter syndrome, I absolutely have imposter syndrome. Okay. I'm not coming on here and being like, that's not a thing. It absolutely is a thing. I just fight it.
yeah. I just choosing to ignore it.
Yeah.
That's we're all gonna have that little voice that says, "But can you? But
Right.
should you?" And like everything is just like a choice between like, are you gonna let that voice talk to you like that? Or are you gonna do it anyways? And like
Yeah.
I think the thing with like the personifying it as like, would a white man do it? It's giving it that kind of like, if I don't feel like I respect your opinion, why would I listen to you? So, I mean, like, and again, we're not saying, the all white men are bad kind of deal. But like when you kind of think of this person that you hate, that you don't like, that's getting these things that they don't deserve, they're, flaunting their privilege, that like is barely putting the effort in, which is like what I'm kind of like picturing as this person.
Hmm.
But I care what they think.
Right. And they're getting the success, right? Or we see this storyline over and over again where it's, fuck up, move up, right? And that generally is not that that can't be a woman, but it generally is a middle-aged white guy. Um,
If you don't
yeah, I
think
mean,
they
I
are smart enough to do it, just think like, I mean, look at these guys who think they're smart enough to run a country.
very true, very true.
They're
That's
not
another way
smart
you
enough
could
to
think
run
of
a
it.
country. You, honey, are definitely smart enough to start your business.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. You could totally,
Yeah.
change this whole little thought practice
Yeah.
to, let me just have a quarter of the audacity of
That a
the president,
politician does.
right? Or yeah, some of these politicians. Sure.
Uh,
Going back to like kind of what you said and like, women not believing in themselves in this kind of job space. So there's actually a pretty big study done, and a lot of us have probably heard about this statistic where men will apply for a job when they meet only 60% of the
yeah.
qualifications, but women won't apply unless they meet 100% of the
Yeah.
qualifications. This study was done like back in 2014. So it has been, um, put to the test, and they have found that the gap isn't quite that big. Um, but they have consistently found that women have significantly more psychological hurdles when they're applying, right?
Yeah.
And that we see that all of the time, right? If you have friends applying for jobs or when you've applied for jobs, like we'll look at these things and be like,
Yeah.
there's absolutely no way. Um, but a man will probably be like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
and they'll
Yeah, no,
apply,
I heard that
right? And we
statistic.
won't even apply because we
Yeah.
already let that voice in the head say, "You're not good enough, so don't even try."
As long as it doesn't require proof with, like, a certificate or something, I can probably figure it out. I'll do it. I don't know. I'm one of those people now that I'll do it. That I have the audacity. I don't deal with the imposter syndrome that often anymore. Like, every once in a while, like, I will legitimately ask myself, because I'm a pretty self-aware person, can I do this? Do I have the capacity for this? Am I smart enough to do this? And, like, maybe I might decide no. Maybe I might decide, no, I need to, like, learn a little bit more to feel a little bit more confident. But for the most
Right.
part, I'm like, yeah, probably. What's the worst that can happen? And
Yeah.
that's the other other line that
Yeah.
has
I
just
mean,
given me so much audacity. What's the worst that can happen?
yes, and I do frame it like that in my head.
Yeah,
And I think with age comes some of that wisdom, and I don't care
yeah,
anymore, because we have
sure.
been through enough of the experiences. But I think that's why it's even more important for us to have these conversations, in hopes that, women in their 20s or these kinds of like the imposter syndrome and stuff doesn't stop people for as long.
Yeah,
Right? Because, I mean, the big thing with all of this and talking about, the white man or whatever is that men, particularly white men, see themselves as the main character, right? And everybody else plays this supporting role.
yeah.
And that's how they see it. Truly. They don't think about
And, like,
seeing it.
because it's worked for them for so long,
ex-
like, that's been the general
Absolutely.
role.
Absolutely. It has worked. So they don't think of it as audacity. They just think of it as like functioning in the world,
Yeah.
right? Um, so I think even further when you're looking at the chronic illness community and the neurodivergent community, you can kind of take this idea of audacity and use it to kind of look at accommodating yourself or better supporting yourself,
Mhm.
right? Um, so I kind of talk about this quite a bit on my page or on threads or whatever, uh, about like the rules don't exist, that they're made up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Somebody just said these things at some point. Who
yeah,
said this? What is
right.
it?
And a lot of it is rooted in patriarchy, right? These rules and these expectations that are put on
Oh,
women, um, absolutely come out of the patriarchy. Uh, and we see as chronically ill or neurodivergent women, that we really don't fit inside of these rules, yet
yeah.
we still try to meet them, right?
Yeah.
Follow them or reach those expectations or whatever. Um, so
And do
I
you ever
think,
notice that, like, so many of us get stuck in that, like, half and half? Because, like, our neurodivergent brains are just like, "You gotta get out of here. You gotta get out. You gotta get out of the box. You gotta do something different. You gotta get out of there." So, like, we're starting these businesses, but then and I, like, see this a lot, like, as a coach, they still want to fit those businesses that they're starting, to get out of the box into the box. And, like, it keeps coming back around, and it's so much of that, like, masking tendency and, like, all of those things that keep tripping us up when we just need to be doing things our own way.
absolutely, absolutely. I really couldn't agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
I think, uh, you know, in school, we're really taught how to, like, here's the next step, do it. Here's the next step,
Mhm.
do it. Here's the next step, do it. And so it's really hard when you go to start a business
Yeah.
because there's a lot of steps that nobody's going to tell you. There's no
Yeah.
like set manual for this is how you do it, right?
Yeah.
Which is why there are so many business coaches
Yeah.
and things, right? And
Yeah.
there's different business advice that works for different people
Yeah.
too. Um,
Which, for the record, is why I base all of my coaching around, like, very personalized plans. Like, I don't have preset plans for anyone. I have, like, a general guideline because
sure.
no one's business is like not all the businesses are gonna fit into the same. They just never
Absolutely.
are. I
Absolutely.
have tried to make templates on this one. I have a
Yeah,
checklist that could probably sorta get you, like, to the starting point, like, for most kinds. Everyone's gonna veer
sure.
off at some point.
Sure, or there's, like,
Yeah,
all the rules change, right,
yeah,
across states and even down
yeah.
to the local level. People
Or we
might
have
have, like,
different,
local permits that they have to
accessibility
get.
needs.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
all kinds of things.
yeah,
I think I think when we're talking about business and we're talking about trying to find the audacity and like you're saying, people trying to emulate these huge brands, and things like
mhm,
that because it works for them. Um, well, they have an entire team, probably multiple teams,
yeah,
right? Of people that are extremely successful at this who then also themselves have a team. Right, and
yeah,
that kind of model is just not going to work for somebody that's chronically ill or neurodivergent at all because
yeah,
they're one person and they're already trying to function with essentially a hand tied behind their back.
yeah,
Um, so my advice to, uh, newer small business owners, and trying to figure this out is that you really need to spend time creating a brand.
mhm,
Because I think that that really does help you find the audacity. So the first year of my business, I was out there and I was just doing things as they came. Right, I had enough audacity to do that show. The art was, it was the best art that I had made at the time, but it was not good. Okay, I'm still not this amazing artist, right? I'm just not. Um, but again, I think that simple art can create connection,
mhm,
right? We use art in all kinds of ways to do
yeah,
this. Um, but I really struggled that first year because I was doing the same things. I was trying to emulate the big brands. I was trying
mhm,
to, like, what do I post? So then you're doing these like follow the stupid calendars thing, trying to like grab onto anything because
yeah.
you're just like, I have no idea what to post.
Trying to
Um,
follow all of, like, that traditional, like, advice, like, "Just post consistently,
right, right.
and just show up, and just do this, just do that." Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
And
did
it
that
it just
too.
it doesn't work if you don't have anything like feeding that,
Yeah.
right?
And it's
So,
morally crushing when these things don't work because you feel like a failure, but you were never the problem. The
yeah.
system was never built for a person like you. It was
Well,
the
sure.
system's fault, not yours.
Yeah. I mean, and the system wasn't built to reward small businesses either,
Yeah.
right? Let alone marginalized
Yeah.
communities, attempting to be business owners. Uh,
I've been talking a lot about social media lately and like honestly, like I feel like they really have brainwashed us. And I'm starting to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but like they've really brainwashed us into giving them all this time and this content for free, and it's only ever feeding them. It's only ever really benefiting them. They're making the ad money off of it. They're getting like all of the benefits. I mean, like, and now I'm Canadian as well. So like TikTok and Instagram, like they don't pay me when I create content. So I'm like,
right.
why would I care to feed
Sure.
their system? But then they like, with the numbers, they've given us, they start you out on, they give you the high numbers to start you out, get you all excited. And
Yeah,
then, you start getting lower numbers. So it's all the psychology of just making you work harder
it
and
is.
it's draining.
It is draining.
And like,
It is it is
they
draining.
have some fucking audacity. If anyone has
Well,
the
sure.
freaking audacity, it's
Yeah.
those damn white men. that created all these
Yeah,
social media apps. So
for
I'm
sure.
very big, like, when I'm working with clients and stuff like that, convincing people to build their own thing. Do you have your own website?
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Hey there, bestie. Sorry to interrupt the show, but I'm building something so cozy and I just couldn't wait to tell you about it. If you're loving the cozy vibes of today's episode and wondering how you can make your business feel this cozy without using up any more energy, I would like to invite you to the Cozy Content Creators Club. This is on top of the community that I told you about earlier. It is a low commitment group coaching container and content library designed to help you build a business that works with your energy. As a member of the club, you get access to monthly group coaching and workshops that are created for the tired and busy entrepreneur, including our cozy CEO days and quarterly planning sessions to help you stay consistent with your content, and the Resource Nook with all my best tools, templates, and resources. So if you're ready to make your business feel a little cozier, sign up for the Cozy Content Creators Club today. Right now, until September, you can lock in at the founder's price of only $27 a month Canadian. To join the club, visit chronicallycozylife.com or visit the link in the show notes. Okay, now let's get back to our cozy chat.
That
Good.
that's where I think, the like, again, the branding comes into it.
Yeah.
I've done business education with a different, organization, and, one of the first things that came up after you get, do you have all of these legal things in order is, you need to make a brand. And
Right.
initially, I really pushed back at that because I'm like, "You guys don't get it. Like, I'm chronically ill. I don't have time
Yeah.
to spend all of this time trying to figure this out and creating a new logo and you know what I mean? Like doing all
Yeah.
of the things that are required. Um, but ultimately, I also eventually realized that everything I was doing, you know, it was sucking the life out of me and I wasn't getting anywhere. And it really clicked with me when they said, go ahead and put your logo like in the group. People don't know you that much yet, right? You're here like at the start. Put your
Mhm.
logo in the group and ask people to tell you what they think your business is. And people came back and told me that they thought basically the thing was they thought I ran like a children's something, right?
Oh,
Children's clothes store or like maybe toys for
yeah.
kids or maybe it was a gardening thing. Because of the ladybug, like they didn't and I was like, "Oh no." Right? Like that's not good, right? That's not good at all. Like maybe there
Yeah.
is something to this whole branding thing. So I did go through and you know, figured all that out and it did suck. It did take more time than I wanted it to take. Um, but at the same time, I have been able to like I think I express it pretty well, right? And able to stick to that brand pretty well. I've figured
Yeah.
out what that is, and then that also helps me create the content,
Yeah.
right? Because I know that like, okay, what are a couple of my things? Like, um, right, my whole spiel is that um, the entire mission of the Witty Ladybug is to share hope and humor among the darkness, whatever that darkness may be, right? So I'm trying to build connection. I'm trying to use dark humor to deal with chronic illness and just
Mhm.
sucky situations and late stage capitalism. Um, like, and this stuff feeds what I do on social media.
Yeah.
I also decided like that, and I've continued to decide, right? And figure out which platforms really serve me, like you're talking
Yeah.
about, and
Yeah.
as much as I had tried, Facebook had like my most followers, right? Which was not really anything to write home about.
Yeah.
Um, like 500 or something. Um, but the reality was that all of that was because those people had been there because they were family or friends or
Mhm.
they cared about me and they wanted to watch those crafting videos. Do you know what I mean? But anytime I had posted something that really resonated with my brand that was kind of, again,
Yeah.
humor about my illness or something, it was all, "Oh, we're so sorry. You just have to stay positive." Like these kinds of things. And it's like, you don't what? Like you don't get like get off of this, like you
Yeah.
don't get it. That's not what this is. Like I'm trying to be relatable here and not,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, like, share what
I hate
I'm
when
going through behind
people
the
leave
scenes.
leave those comments on your post where I'm like, "You didn't get it."
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, not only did you not get it, but, like, you commented on it for everybody to see that you didn't get it, and, like,
Right.
uh,
Right, but I used to, right? I
cringy.
used to before I figured out, like, what the brand was and stuff, I really used to try to cater and was very careful because I didn't wanna offend anybody, right?
Yeah,
Because everybody could be my customer or whatever, and really, that's not true. Like, if you
not
try to
doing
build a business for everybody, you're
yeah,
not gonna end up having a business, right? You have to pick something. And
yeah,
that can continue to evolve, right? It has for me. Like when I first started, I really was doing like the ceramics and I made these monster mugs and they were great, except for there was issues with the kiln and I had tried multiple firings and like done this stuff and
mhm.
I ended up with like 50 monster mugs that were not food safe,
Oh, that's
right? They all
unfortunate.
failed the tests
That's
at
sad.
the end. They weren't food safe. And I was just like, it was killing me. Right? And,
Yeah,
like, so you do have to pivot, right? And things can grow and they can change. And I'm getting more into, I don't have any currently available because the ones that I've made have been like holiday themed or what have you. But I'm pushing more towards like digital downloads and things because I think people, right? There's less barriers to that. There's less
mhm,
barriers for me, for that kind of product.
yeah,
Like you can pivot, but when you decide and you're forced to decide, what am I really doing? Why in the hell did I think that it was a good idea? Why did I have the audacity? Why do I want to wake up every day and find the fucking audacity
yeah,
of a mediocre white man? And when you
yeah,
figure that out, it's just like, then you can make realistic decisions about everything else, right? You
yeah,
you make better financial decisions, right? You're making better content decisions like we've already
yeah,
talked about. Um, but you are also like putting things in place so that you keep out the people, like, you make yourself very
yeah,
unappealing for the people that are going to attack your target audience, right? And you
yeah.
make it a safe space for your target audience so they want to, like, keep coming back.
Yeah.
And everything has to do that,
I love it
right?
so much, like, and it's just, like, it's so funny that we're having this conversation right now, like, this happens to be the stuff that, like, I've been working on, like, writing up right
Mhm.
now, like, and just, like, you just pulled that from my brain. Like, that was just, like, my words, like, that just came out of your mouth. Like, that was so weird to listen to you say some of those things. And that's so much of what it is, like, you have to be flexible. Like, when you're building a business with a chronic illness and with a
Absolutely.
neurodivergent brain, you have to be flexible, you have to be willing to pivot, and you have to be able to, like, look at these problems as something that might help you grow, that might, give you the opportunity to do something different.
Yeah.
Um, and like what you were talking about there. So, like, one of the things I've been asking around lately, doing a bit of market research because one of the products I wanted to work on was something to help people build a business plan. But
Sure.
from what I'm getting, sounds like most people are not building business plans. And honestly, I think that might be the problem for a lot of people. And I think that, like, to have a plan in place can give you so much more confidence, can give you so much more
Yeah.
direction. And especially when you're neurodivergent and like, you're going to tend to like go off on tangents. You're going to like get distracted by something. You're going to have a plan written down. And like what you were talking about, like I always say, like the first step to making your plan is to have your mission. And
Mhm.
that's what it sounds like you've created is like you have your mission, and that's
Yeah.
like you knew who you wanted to help and the basics of what you wanted to do and the feeling that you wanted to create, and everything within that,
Yeah.
you know?
Everything
Can
feeds
be, it can
everything feeds
split, it
into that.
can change, it can come together, it can be taken out.
Yep.
Like, that's the
Yeah.
best part about having a business as a neurodivergent person. Love
Yeah.
it.
I I think there's struggles too, like, there is a big part of me that wish I would have started things, like, I would have built the foundation before I just threw myself out
Yeah.
there, but at the same time, I think that if I had done that, there wouldn't be a business
Yeah.
because I had to jump
'Cause you overthink
while,
it.
I had that
Yeah.
audacity and was like, "Okay, we're going
Yeah.
for it," because there was a real tangible thing right there.
Yeah.
Like, "You need to hurry up and do this because there's this thing, and you can do this, and just screw it, you're doing it," right? Like,
You have to grab hold
just
of that
do the thing.
motivation like it's a for real physical thing standing in front of you.
Right, and it was, I was making right, I was a new business, so, like, I was doing a bunch of art, I was trying to create these products, I was doing all of that, and I do all of that really did help me once I figured out, the branding, right? I don't use
Mhm.
like, their art's gotten better, right?
As it
I
will.
don't use as much of the equipment's gotten better, right? I don't use,
Yeah.
most of those designs from the beginning, but everything taught me something. And I felt like right, I was at a place where I was ready um
Yeah.
to dive into that. I did do the whole like business plan, right? Cuz like you're going to start a business, you're supposed to have this business plan. The bank didn't care. They didn't want to know, right? Like do you know what I mean? Like for
No,
this
you
whoever is going to
definitely don't need a business plan for anyone else, like, unless you're, like, doing a whole thing to get funding, like,
right.
it's
And that was
the
that was
business
how it was
plan is
pushed to
for
me.
you, for
Yeah,
sure.
that was how it was pushed to me. I think
Yeah,
if you're gonna make, like, a business plan where it's, like it's pretty simple, right? And I
yeah,
do that. I have the goals, right? I've set the intentions, like, here's the goal, and you do have to go back because you will get off track.
you
You will
will.
absolutely get off the rails. Really, I think you need to try to at least look at your goals, like,
Yeah,
once a month. Um because there's gonna be something shiny, right? Ooh, I saw this video, right? This business tutorial, and somebody's doing this thing, and I have the equipment, and I think I could pull that off, right? And so
or
you
you
go
know, get
what
distracted and accidentally start a podcast.
right, sure, whatever it is, but it is good to come back and say like, "Ugh, okay, I don't really necessarily wanna completely let this go, but I need to make
Yeah,
sure that I've let go of this other thing, and I need to make sure that I'm doing that too."
like,
Right?
instead
Because
of
you can
just, like,
if you aren't doing that, you could wake up, like,
just
a year
stop
from now and
reading
be like, "What
my
happened?"
mind. Like, I swear you're just like, have you just been watching me lately? Like, I mean, I know I post a lot on Threads, but am I, like, talking about these things more than I think? Because literally doing this, like, I had my plan. I was gonna be a coach, and I'm gonna do all these coaching things, and then I did get distracted. I built a community, and I built a podcast, and I built a directory. They're very amazing, very useful tools, love them so much. But I did get distracted from like the fact that like my original intention was coaching
Right.
and creating some digital products. And so I have been trying to like come back to that
Yeah.
recently, refinding it and like and accepting that like, those other things, they were like the side quests were they got me the bonus points that I needed, for sure. They got me the experience and the
Mhm.
bonus points. I made some new friends. I have a podcast now. It's fantastic. And now I'm finding it's
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, it's good, right? I have been through some very good business coaching, and that's part of why, like, everything you were doing resonated with me because I had been through, these things. I had kind of learned
Yeah.
really what's the right thing to do and, like, what's not the right thing
Mhm.
to do. Um Right? Because I've had so many different business coaches come across my feeds or whatever, and you're like, "No, I don't know. I don't want the girl boss shit. I don't want" do you know what I mean? Like,
Please no
the
hustle
hustle culture
culture.
stuff.
Please
I
no hey
want
girl.
like what I think
Yeah.
really what chronically ill, especially chronically ill small business owners need is they need uh, small chunks of advice that are immediately actionable,
Yeah.
right? And I think you're doing that too, right? In all of the things that you're doing or the advice that you give, and then hey, here come come to this cozy chat,
Yeah.
right? Like meet other people. You don't have to feel alone. Like that's A. Like let's keep you here as
And
a
like
business owner. A. B.
making it focus on giving like that actionable stuff is like so important to me. That was like the main direction. That and the other thing you were talking about too is like the making the connections in the community. Because I feel like the more we do connect with each other and the more that we see these things from each other, it like normalizes it. And like the whole reason why having a conversation about having the audacity and having the confidence to do these things is important. Because it's conversations like this where people talked about the fact that, like, yeah, it was hard. Yeah, I struggled. But yeah, I pulled through and, like, you can too kind of idea. Like, that
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to believe that you can. And it sounds silly, right? Like that sounds like toxically positive. I'm aware, but sometimes you for real just have to believe that you can
Oh yeah. I
and
honestly
do
through
it.
the last 3 years of business, I have
Yeah.
faked it till I've made it.
Yeah.
Um, and and I like I said, the imposter syndrome, it's not gone. I don't have
Yeah.
some multi-million dollar business, like, right? It's very small business. Um,
Yeah.
I don't have
We
all of
just
these
believe it
things.
because we believe we can doesn't mean we're any less tired and we're neurodivergent and
Yeah,
or.
right? But yeah, but it's like these small decisions that you make, right?
Yeah.
Like before I was chronically ill, I was very much type A. Uh everything had to be perfect, and all of that. And I think part of, again, making these small decisions of like, I'm going to have the audacity.
Yeah.
I've tested this to the point that I can test it. I'm going to just let it go. And if something
Yeah.
happens with the first couple of orders, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But kind of like letting
Exactly.
go of this idea that I'm on this big stage and everyone's looking at me. And if
Yeah.
I do something wrong, it's going to be a very massive problem. Like,
Yeah.
more than likely, it's not, right? Because if you're here, if you're looking for these things, you don't have millions of followers, right? Like, you know, these things will be okay. And like, I think doing things like that will help you. Another massive thing that has helped me through the years is also using and in my business, but is also using this idea of audacity and that, like, men don't ask permission. They don't think about asking for permission, right? If there is something in their life
Would I
that they
am?
think could make their life easier, make something faster, right? They're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Even if that ultimately ended up like causing somebody else to carry the load or
Yeah.
whatever, right? But they're gonna go do it.
Yeah.
So I think looking for these things, right? I would task anybody that's made it this far into the podcast to think about one chore that is like just really hard for you. And then think about what's something I could do to make it easier. Right?
Yeah.
Like if it's cooking or folding laundry or emptying the
Yeah.
dishwasher, all of those can be made easier with a rolling stool.
Yeah. Adapt.
And
You
you don't have to be disabled, you don't have to have the diagnosis yet, you don't have to have any of these things. If that would make it easier and then you would be able to have
Yeah.
like the energy, the spoons to spend an extra hour on your business, do it.
No
Do
labels
it.
required for accommodating yourself, and always just accommodate yourself, like, who cares what it looks like? Who cares, like, who has, like, whatever judgment? Oh my gosh, this is actually something we've talked about a couple times on the show now, and, like, the things that, like, some of the, like, healthy entrepreneurs will say, that, like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, like,
Yeah, I hate that.
"If you can't do
Absolutely hate
this,
that.
why are you even trying?" Like, no, like, why are we letting anyone judge us? Like if you've got the idea and you've got the capacity and do the thing. Just do the thing and put it out there. And like the other thing that like really like just shifted my mindset was like somebody had just told me once, like, if it's not out there, no one can buy it. I was like,
Absolutely
well,
true.
that's true. Like I could sit here and fiddle with this product or with this page, with this blog post, with this
Yep.
whatever for hours and hours. But if it's not out there, nobody can read it, nobody can buy
Yep.
it, nobody can consume it. So if you
Get it
just
out
put it
there,
out
then
there,
make it great. Yep.
yeah, and then work on making it like better and more perfect or whatever,
Mhm.
as close to perfect as you want to get it.
Yeah.
Nobody can buy it if it's not out there. Just put it
No,
out there.
exactly.
Have the audacity, have the
Yep.
confidence. You might
Yep.
as well.
And I think too, when you're practicing that in small but very meaningful ways in your
Mhm.
everyday life, it really
Yeah.
does help that translate into having the confidence to be a business owner, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've cried, right? I still cry. Like right now, I'm dealing with a very, very bad flare. Um,
Mhm.
I've been sleeping like 14, 16 hours a day and still just like super struggling through it. Um, and I've really considered like, am I gonna keep this business because I'm not sure how this
Yeah.
is gonna go, right? How long is this gonna be? Like, what's going on? We don't have a great resolution to some of the things I've been dealing with. Um, and I've really thought about it and I've cried about it. And I'm like, you know what? I need to just trust. I need to trust and have the confidence in what I've already set up that it
Mhm.
will keep going and I will be able to put more energy into it when I have the energy,
Yeah.
right? But right now, like, I mean, people that are close to me and I have expressed like on my pages that I'm struggling, but
Yeah.
um, my whole audience doesn't know that, right? Like my customers don't know that and
Yeah.
they don't necessarily need to know about that or
Yeah.
have any idea that something like that is going on because I have built, right? I have built this
Yeah.
entire foundation and then built the systems on top of it, right? So I've built like the automations, right? I have the website, like all of it
Yeah.
is, it's going to keep going, you
And the
know?
fact is, like, the normal thing is that things are gonna fluctuate.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, like, the most annoying thing about having a chronic illness is that the normal thing is that nothing's ever just gonna be normal. Nothing's ever just
absolutely.
gonna always be the same. Your capacity is not gonna stay the same day to day, and you have to have those systems set up so that
Mhm.
they function when you can't. And
Yep.
that's definitely the sign of a good business is when you have it set up so you feel like it can do the things. And that's a big part of like those are all the things that I work on with like my clients is like setting up those systems, making sure they have those foundations, that plan
Right.
that like gets them through that they can follow that's not going to like put them into a box, like those are the important things that
Yeah.
we need as chronically ill and neurodivergent entrepreneurs. Like you
Yeah.
honestly, like you nailed so much of that. Like you just pulled that out of my brain. Sarah, thank you so much for coming and chatting with me today. This has been so much fun. I love talking about having like the confidence to just do the shit
Mm.
because sometimes you have to. You just have to like go and do it. And we can spend all this time like contemplating and thinking, but like the best thing to do is always just going to be to do it. So, Sarah, can you tell all of our people where they can find you?
Absolutely. Before I do that, Randy, thank you so much for having me on the show too. I've had a really good time. And I'm glad they're on the same wavelength, uh, on
So
things.
much so.
I hope that this show helps somebody,
Me
um,
too.
feel a little less alone. So you can find me at, thewittyladybug.com. All of my social handles are at the Witty Ladybug. So that's Witty with Witty. Yeah. And I'm on
Awesome.
Facebook, Instagram.
Website?
I like Threads. Threads is really
Yes,
my
me too.
jam. I found that about a year ago and it's been wonderful.
Yeah, me too. Your website?
Yeah,
so that they can go and shop all your stickers and stuffs?
it's, thewittyladybug.com.
Perfect. And I will make sure, obviously, that I drop all of those links in below. Thank you again, Sarah, so much for coming and talking to me. I do think that this conversation will help people for sure. That's always what we want here. Like our goal here at the Cozy Chats podcast is all about like, making the things feel more normal, a little bit easier, a little bit cozier, all of that. If you are a chronically cozy entrepreneur and you want to come and share your story and your thoughts on adapting your business to your chronic illness and neurodivergence, check out the links down below. Learn more about me and all the things that we've talked about, and we will see you next week. Bye.